All right, so now we're looking at products and then we're going to look at quotients. So here's the interesting thing. So if I was actually going to multiply these two messes, like I could pull R1 and R2 up front just as a product, but multiplying cosine theta plus I sine theta times cosine of another angle plus I sine of another angle creates a FOIL situation, and it gets really hairy. But the I times I squared will give us a negative. Like crazy stuff happens. But we end up with the cosine of theta 1 plus theta 2 plus I sine of theta 1 plus theta 2. So I multiplied these two numbers, which with vectors, multiplication does a specific thing. I only have to add the two angles and I just multiply the radiuses. That is way easier than actually trying to multiply all that crap out. So that's what we're going to do down here. So Z1 times Z2 is going to be 4 times 2 cosine of 80 plus 145 plus I sine 80 plus 145. All right, so Z1, 4, 80, and 80. Z2 is the 2, 145, and 145. All right, so Z1 times Z2 is going to be 8 cosine of 225 degrees plus I sine 225 degrees. That's it. Quotients. So if when we multiply, the radiuses multiply, when we divide them, the radiuses divide, and instead of the angles adding, the angles subtract. All right, so Z1 divided by Z2. Let's try to go with some different colors here. So Z1 is 2 cosine of 213. Still plus I sine 213. All right, Z2 was a 4. And when they say find the quotient, they're giving you the first thing over the second thing. So that's why we know it's Z1 over Z2. They really should have been a little more clear about that, but then we're just subtracting 33 degrees on both of those. All right, so Z1 over Z2 is 1/2 cosine of 200 minus 20 is 180. Oh, well, isn't that rather silly? Plus I sine 180. This is literally just the number negative 1/2. Cosine of 180 is -1, sine of 180 is 0. All right, one more example. This one, they're giving us two numbers and they want the product and the quotient. So I figured we'd do this one, A, extra practice, and B, I have no idea what the answers are. Maybe they'll look interesting. Probably not, but maybe. All right, so Z1 times, let's use some colors, Z2. Let's also move it down here. Right. Equals. So our first radius times our second radius times the cosine of thing plus thing plus I sine of thing plus thing. I'm going to be a little bit lazy. Sure. There is our form for both. So Z1's radius is 2 square roots of 3. And Z1's angle is 150. Probably should have used cis notation. It would have been way less writing. Then Z2 has a radius of 2. And its angle is 30 degrees. All right, so our product is 4 square roots of 3 times the cosine of 180 plus I sine of 180, which again just works out to be -1. So we get a real number there. All right, now down here for our quotient, 2 square root of 3 over 2 is just the square root of 3 now. And this will be the cosine of 120 plus I sine 120, which is somewhere in quadrant 2. Just like that, they give us a nice pattern. We apply it. That's it. The most they might ask is to have us take this and then turn it into the rectangular form instead, just because the angles worked out to be nicely. Meh. All right, one more.